Welcome back to another episode of the Nat1Nerds. Today we are all back together. We had a week off. I'm joined today by Brandon, who's going to tell us where we can find him at.
Hey guys, so you can find me on my Facebook, my Twitter, and my YouTube, Rymar865. The only difference from my Twitter is Rymar_865.
And Tyler.
I am on Twitter at the Grand Nizmo.
And we have Derek. Tell us where we can find you at.
I've got Twitter, which is at Wren Modulus, and Twitch, which is Wren_Modulus.
And you can find me, David, at Whiskey_10 on Twitter and WhiskeyTenn on Twitch. We're happy to be back. We took a week off last week, I believe, because Derek was on vacation. You want to tell us about how that was?
Yep. Well, we went to the beach with my family. I don't really like the beach, but my daughter does. So, all for letting her have fun and then be happy. We just were at a beach house in South Carolina. We went to the aquarium. We did the South Carolina aquarium, and we did the what's that called? The Southern Mansion thing. Shoot, I even got a shirt there or something.
Biltmore?
No, Magnolia Plantation. It was okay. I much more enjoy doing the things like the plantation and the aquarium than I did the beach because I'm not a big sun or sand or water fan. But
Which part of South Carolina did you go to? Was it Myrtle Beach or Charleston?
no, it was an island, a private island,
Ah, okay. Cool,
a
cool,
gated
cool.
community island.
Okay.
Sounded more fun when you said a private island. When you throw gated community, it just takes all the fun right out of it.
Yeah, it goes from
well,
being a really cool place to like have a summer party to being like, oh, this is probably like a retirement community. So
Well, and that's why I threw that in there because I didn't want it to seem like, oh yeah, we just have this private island off the coast,
right.
filthy rich,
Left that alone.
just left that alone. But no, it's there's quite a few like houses. It's just a little gated community basically, but it's on an island, and pretty much all the houses. There's a golf course there.
Did you golf?
Didn't really. I was gonna say I didn't really get much chance to golf, but
Are you a golfer?
the golf course is under construction. But yes, I do play golf.
The only golf course I've ever stepped foot on was the one that's by the Wilderness in Sevierville, and that was because it was a Food City event, and I happened at the time work for the Food City that was right by it. So my memory of that golf course was me being up at 3 a.m. to make 400 biscuits and with a variety of either smoked ham, sausage, or bacon, and then having to deliver it at 6 a.m. So
That is literally my favorite golf course in like Tennessee right now. The Sevierville Country Club.
It's apparently not David's favorite though.
no, it wasn't. I have bad memories of it.
Speaking of which, we need to hit that up soon, Derek. We need to go play some golf.
Yeah, we do. For some reason, that just gives me an image of David, like he's like, has like nightmares about biscuits. The biscuits are attacking.
Well,
the biscuits!
I actually have memories of that place. Like, I don't keep my phone on anymore because of that place. I don't keep my, I don't like, I turn it off. It's on silent all the time because of that place. Because I used to get called I used to manage that deli, and I'd get called, not particularly that one. It was the one after that really had the issues where I'd get called almost every single day to fix an issue. But yeah, the whole job really ruined my me wanting to have a cell phone, and I only have it because that's the only way you talk to people.
So you heard it here first. At some point, David is going to be a mountain man. He's going to live in the mountains with no power and kill animals for food.
I'm already halfway there.
Yeah, you got the mountain scene behind you there.
No, I like the internet. I just don't like my phone. I don't know. It just got to the point to where I would be contacted on my days off when I was trying to unwind and relax, and it was just constantly every day something was wrong.
Wait, you mean that's not how it's supposed to work?
No.
I did some work actually on vacation.
Wait, David, didn't you say you're going into IT?
I am, yeah.
Have you ever heard about on-call?
I'm almost positive it's not going to be as bad as what it was at Food City, where I would have to go in at midnight.
It depends.
It's pretty bad.
2 o'clock in the morning sometimes.
I would
It's pretty
rather
bad.
go. I would rather go in to the office for something IT related than have to go like fix a fryer at 2 in the morning. So
This is true. But most of the time for
90
IT, you don't really have to go into
You
the
don't have to
office.
go. Yeah.
there's also that where when I got called at for Food City, I had to go in and either pick up someone else's work or do something. So I think
As
So-
that's
I
okay.
actually, go ahead, Tyler.
Little side story here. Speaking of IT and on call, so I work in IT, and one of the guys on one of our project management teams in tech, literally, he quote unquote works from home, but he lives on a boat on a yacht and sails the world. So he does the work that he needs to do, I guess, between ports. But then when he docks, that's when he has all of his meetings and everything. It's nuts the way this guy works. And I forget his name, but we call him whatever his first name was. We call him, like, say his name was Frank. We say, oh, that's Boat Frank, because there's other
Boat
people
Frank.
with that name. Yeah, he reports in from the boat.
It's
Brandon? Do you remember iCarl?
apparently not.
No? Best Buy?
Yeah, I do remember iCarl. Man, he was something else, dude.
He was our Apple guy when we worked at Best Buy back in the day. And we called him iCarl because he was the Apple guy. And he hated
his
it.
name
He
Carl?
hated it. Yes, his
Yeah.
name was Carl.
Okay.
Yeah.
He
That makes sense.
absolutely hated it though. He's like, no, I know.
What's wrong with being the Apple guy? Speaking of,
No, he didn't hate being the Apple guy. He hated being called iCarl.
we'll come back to
Yeah.
Apple here in a little bit because they had some big news that came out over the break that we were on.
Oh yeah.
But did anyone else do anything while the week we were gone? I know Derek got to spend time on his private island apparently. But did any of us other mere mortals get to do anything? Mostly the same, because every time I ask that question, it's like we worked. So I guess that's pretty much the same answer.
Yeah. I
All
took
right.
my
Yeah,
kids
pretty
to the
much.
mountains on
Oh,
Sunday.
yeah.
That
4th of
was a lot
July.
of fun.
Yeah.
Other than that, not
Right. I guess I'll go ahead and talk about now. This actually isn't in my notes, but I just remember seeing it on Reddit. Apple has dropped AMD from their CPU and apparently their GPU for their phones now, and they're going to do only Apple product or proprietary Apple gear in their phones now without AMD. So that's
yeah,
pretty
they
interesting.
did that with computers and it didn't work out so great for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Didn't
better
they come
prepared this
crawling
time.
back to Intel?
Yep, they came crawling back to Intel.
Well, I guess from their point of view, if they are able to do it in-house, then it's going to be cheaper if they can do it successfully. I mean, for a company
yeah.
like that, taking a risk isn't that big of a deal. That kind of risk
just
anyway.
when you-
Just don't hold your iPhone wrong.
That's
Right.
when you get computers that are the shape of like 1960s helmets. I don't know.
You mean the ones that were like,
Oh.
yeah, those are cool. The G something or another, right?
They
G35
may
or
have
something?
looked. They may have looked cool,
Apparently
but
they were.
didn't work cool.
Apparently they were really ahead of their time, though. I
You're
can't
talking
remember
about they were the iMac, the G3s.
the G3. Yeah.
The G3s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they I mean, like I said, I'm pretty sure that was like way ahead of its time for that time period, wasn't it?
No,
Not
they
that-
were
it
they were
was
lower.
marketed
They were
well.
lower end. No, they were marketed well. They were lower end
Well,
computers.
they were one of the very first like mass-produced computers, weren't they?
No,
I mean, they were in schools
not even
everywhere.
close. No, not even close. They were just cheap-ish compared to other Apple stuff, and they were lower end, so schools got them a lot.
That was before I was old enough and took a large interest in tech as a whole. So I didn't know too much spec wise about them. I just knew that's what I started learning on.
Yeah.
You hear that? He's calling us old, Brandon.
Apparently.
I never actually saw it in school. I just knew that they used to be
You're
there.
not that much older than I am.
I had an
Probably.
I
I
had
don't
an-
know. I don't know
I
how
had
old
an
you
old
are.
IBM when I was a kid, man. I got
Okay,
my mom.
you know what? I had a Tandy, so
Yeah. It's a little
Okay.
story here. For Christmas one year, we had our little IBM with 512 megabytes of RAM. And my mom was like, "Guys, I got you a present for Christmas." And we were like, "What is it?" And she wouldn't tell us. She was like, "I'll give you a hint and see if you can figure it out." She said it's something that you could eat. The name has something to do with something that you could eat. And we were Gavin, my brother, figured it out in like 2 seconds. It was a microchip. is what she thought it was, but it was RAM. She got us 512 megabytes of RAM, so our computer had a gigabyte of RAM at the time. It was
I still
kilobytes.
remember. Yeah, I was gonna say a gigabyte, man.
We had a megabyte of RAM. Sorry.
I was gonna say I still remember, upgrading my 33 megahertz with the riser modifier, so I could go to 133.
The first computer I ever had was I don't remember the model. It was a Compaq, but it was running Windows 3.1 with TabWorks, playing the old school games, Chip Challenge, Ski Free, all that.
Wolfenstein 3D.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to play Wolfenstein 3D or Doom, nor Duke Nukem, though I wanted to.
So my mom had a friend that was a tech nerd. He did networking back in the day, like before it was actually something that you wanted to do. And he came over to our house and set up our DOS. We had Wolfenstein, Doom. We had once that Star Wars game, the first Star Wars game came out, he put that on there as well. Dude, I played the crap out of some of that Star Wars game back in the day.
So, Brandon, do you remember when we set up DOSBox with Windows 3.1 on the computer that the customer service people used? And they would come back and they'd be like, "What the hell is this?"
I do actually remember that. It was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
It's like, look, you just have to type in these commands. How do I do that? Figure it out.
It was really good.
I wish I had a younger point where I was more interested in tech at a younger age, but it just didn't happen the way that it did. I always liked computers, but I never really cared about the bits. I just cared about using them. Other cool tech news, by the way. Apparently, the NVIDIA 3000 series is coming out.
I saw that.
And
it's supposedly drastically different.
Also, apparently they're dropping the 2080 Ti in a month from production, which is kind of sad to me because I really want to get one. So I don't know how that'll
get
work.
a 3000 series instead.
The whole point is I was hoping that once the 3000 series came out, then the 2080 Ti would drop in price. But I guess they have no inclination to do that.
Well, see what's going on is places are, places aren't doing as well, and so they're cutting back on production, cutting back on sales, cutting back on stock even.
Yeah, I may have to rush my 2080 Ti purchase. Although I think it was on Twitter from PC Gamer magazine or something like that, saying that it was rumored that would happen. So maybe it won't actually happen, but I would be sad if it did.
Well, from what I understand, the lower end 3000 series is supposed to come out and be fairly comparable to the 2080.
Yeah.
And be a lot cheaper.
Interesting. If that's the case, then that might work out better for me. But you don't know that until you actually see stats and you can go on benchmark.com and check it out,
Until it's not, hey, look at this leaked benchmark with this code name that's supposed to be this,
Yeah.
Look at this weird cooler.
This benchmark
I think this goes to the new card, guys.
This benchmark where the CPU or the GPU had was in a freezer when it was running at full tilt, so that it could get the best numbers it could. I'm trying to think of that below zero liquid, but
they're liquid nitrogen.
Liquid nitrogen cooled GPU.
Liquid nitrogen cooling. They've got
this benchmark for that.
Constant liquid nitro drip.
Yeah,
that would be great. Honestly, if they could just admit that.
There are people who are extreme overclockers. They go to competitions, see how high they can get the clock speeds running, and they're sitting there constantly pouring liquid nitrogen on it because it evaporates so fast. So
yeah,
it's literally done just because they can.
Actually, one of the easiest things for overclocking is the mineral oil submersion.
Yeah, I was to say LTT did that one time, and I thought it was really cool.
Because it gives you such a larger surface area to dissipate the heat. You don't even need fans.
Wrong.
Yeah,
it does.
Like you shouldn't do it.
It bothers me because you have electronic components submerged in liquid.
What are you doing? No, don't do it.
I think the coolest one that I saw on LTT was the one that he made. He actually used an AC unit radiator, and he kept it submerged in just refrigerator coolant, and he had it running off of that as a cooler. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that's a little more dangerous though. The mineral oil is non-conductive.
Well, he has the resources to do all that and to do it as safely as possible,
Well, right, but refrigerant is still partially conductive, so that's just doing it in general is dangerous.
Hmm. I don't know if it's
So-
refrigerator cooled or not, but it was some kind of coolant. Probably just a
Oh,
car
okay.
coolant or something.
It always frustrates me to see someone spend like $6,000 on something like a graphics card and then drop it in water just to see if it worked.
Right? Yeah. Well, I don't think they've ever done that, but they've done the mineral stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, no,
I've
it
seen it.
Now, I
I'm
remember
100%
back in the
certain that
day
happens.
when like the PS4 and all that came out, there were people out there that would be waiting in line for the PS3 or the PS4 to come out, and then they would come out to the line and just throw it on the ground in front of everyone waiting in line,
Yeah.
and then just walk
For
away
the people who probably won't get one.
for their YouTube content. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
I hate
those
people
those
like
were
that.
those were better days when
Those
YouTube was
Logan
cool.
Paul type people.
Those were days when you actually could wait in line for something. Now you can't wait in line for something.
True, I don't think I've waited in line for anything for years though. I've just either
I
ordered
did for
online
PS3.
or you did.
Oh yeah,
too.
I sold
Last
3
thing
of
I
them
waited.
for $2,000 a piece.
Wow.
Jeez. Made out like a bandit.
We're at the PS router now.
I don't get it.
The new
It looks
PS
like a freaking router, man.
Yeah, have you not seen a new
Oh yeah,
PlayStation?
yeah. No, I
Well,
get what you're saying.
the new Xbox looks like just a PC tower. I mean,
Yeah.
It is.
It's a garbage can.
well, yes, that's what PlayStation is too. But you know, it's not supposed to look like a PC
Lauren made-
tower.
Lauren made a valid point. It's a router with a Wii around it.
With a Wii around
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Well, someone actually
That's what
found
happens.
a net
I mean,
router that looks
has
exactly like
Nintendo
it.
really gotten popular enough that we're comparing other consoles to them now? I
I think
mean,
the Switch is probably just as competitive as the. Well, maybe not actually. I know that
actually,
they're-
the Switch has sold more units than both of the other two.
Yeah.
I,
That's
lot
I
because
would
more.
say,
what it's for, what it does.
This-
I mean, like,
yeah, it's carved
Yeah.
out its own little niche, and it fills a void that the others
Family and portable gaming, basically.
But it has a lot
Yep.
of the big AAA titles. It has Red Dead Redemption 2. It's got Doom
Yeah, but nobody
Eternal on it.
buys it. Nobody buys it to play a AAA title. Nobody says,
Sure.
"Oh, I gotta get this title on Switch."
Yeah.
I don't.
I
They
wanna
get the
ever play
titles
any
they
of those
can't get
games on
anywhere
the
else.
Switch.
I guess
I
you
wanna
already
play
had it when
Mario
you
Kart.
did it.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
Breath of
Switch
the
is for
Wild.
things like Mario Kart or Mario Party or
Zelda.
Smash Brothers or Zelda.
Yeah, I want to play. I wish they would put Final Fantasy out on the Switch because I would totally get it for that.
Which one?
The online one?
The 7 remake.
Oh, the remake.
Oh yeah.
man,
Surprised it's
such
not.
a good game. And if I could play it handheld, it would be even better.
Did any of you guys ever play Harvest Moon? Any of the Harvest Moon series?
Mm-mm.
No.
Did not actually.
They actually released the next game in that series released today. Actually, it's now it's called Story of Seasons. It's a long, convoluted story, but Harvest Moon games now are not the Harvest Moon games that came out back in the day. Now it's Story of Seasons.
Oh, isn't it like the
So-
Dark Soul kind of game? Isn't that what it is? It's like
no,
a
no, Harvest
third-
Moon's like
okay,
a
never mind.
it's like a farming sim, life sim kind of thing, sort of, kind of. It's an RPG.
I'm thinking of
basically,
another
but-
remake that's coming out that looks like Dark Souls.
Yeah, Stardew Valley.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the predecessor to that. Stardew Valley, I'm pretty sure was influenced by that and was made because he wanted a new Harvest Moon game, and so he made his own.
Right.
But yeah, that released today. Still debating on whether or not I'm going to get it. But that, speaking of the Switch, those are the type of games I would play on the Switch.
I'm gonna
So-
sell mine whenever I get to the opportunity of putting it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Or I may give it away on Twitch. I don't know. I've kind of thought about that too as a giveaway.
Good idea. That's a really good idea.
I have a bunch of Humble Bundle games that have extra keep codes to, that I plan on doing that soon. But giving away a Switch would be pretty cool. Although I could use an extra $250 as well. But I don't know. We'll see.
that,
We'll see how she goes
That new graphics card.
for that new graphics card. Yeah. Although
Towards
I'm
that.
I'm a little worried that if they, not to backtrack, but I'm a little worried that if they are discontinuing it, that I'm gonna rush to get a 2080 Ti. But if what Derek says is true and their lower end one is just as good, if not a little bit better, then I might be better off doing that. but you don't know until they come out, and if you
Right.
wait, then you may be like, that's like almost that could be
You
$1,000
might miss
decision
your
you make.
chance. Yeah.
But if you look at it and you think about it, whenever they jump genres from like the 1000s, 2000s, the so on and so forth, most of the time the lower end graphics cards are equally compatible to, or a
Typically,
little
it's
bit
the
better
mid
than.
end.
Yeah,
Typically, it's
like
the
the
mid end. So the
2070 is about as good as the 1080.
2070 is the
Or a
same as the
10 yeah.
1080.
It's actually a
So
little bit better.
basically-
The 2070, I think, is a
Yeah,
little better.
but the 2060 is not as good as the 1080.
No, not at all.
Nowhere near, actually.
It's about
But
almost as par as a
supposedly,
1070.
The
I think.
3060 equivalent is supposed to be better than the 2080. They're supposed to make a huge jump in performance this time around.
I don't get why they would just drop
We'll
the
see.
TI, because like they hold on to all their other ones. Like they still have their like 900 series cards out that they still manufacture and make and sell. So I don't get why they would just drop their 2080 series.
I mean,
Could have something to do with sourcing parts and stuff with
I
all the
guess.
craziness going on. Could be.
Well, then why wouldn't
don't
they
know.
drop their like super low end ones that probably have? I guess the cheaper ones
Could
probably
source
have
from
better
different
property.
places.
They probably have better profitability than their higher end ones, don't they?
Probably. I don't
Just
know.
because like they've already worked out how to make them efficiently and whatnot. Have any of you seen the trailer for the Star Wars Squadrons coming out in October?
I have.
Twice, actually.
So it is. It dropped 2 weeks ago, actually. So it's been out for a while. So we're a little bit late on the mark. But it's gonna have a single player campaign. It's gonna have a multiplayer campaign mode, and apparently it'll be supporting VR as well. And it'll be on PC, Xbox, PS4. It'll probably everywhere but Switch. And it's supposed to be just
Everywhere but
completely.
Switch.
Yeah, it's just probably too big of a game to be on Switch, to be honest. Graphically intensive,
Right.
that is. But it looks really cool. It's going to be a dogfighting. I wish that the battle combat was a little bit bigger, other than like you in squadrons. Like it would be really cool to have a like a Battlefield version of a space fight where you have multiple squadrons going through and doing a big dogfight kind of battle. But I guess that's not quite feasible with technology as it is, or maybe the game developer didn't have enough time to do something like that, like a big fight game mode. But it's also early release, not early release, but just been like told about, and I guess they have time to work on extra features if they want to do stuff like that. So who knows? I thought it looked really cool though. All right, any of you?
That's exciting.
I'm assuming, yeah, Brandon. I'm pretty sure you would be excited for that because you mentioned Star Wars earlier. I don't know about the rest of y'all though. Are you gonna probably try to pick it
Really?
up?
Oh, yeah.
Really? Okay, I had to change it because they said that freaking it bothered people. But my background when I first got on today was the trench run.
Right. Oh, you can show us real quick. I just thought it'd be too distracting for the
Okay.
whole, for the
Yeah,
whole video.
you're probably right. It probably is pretty distracting, but I will show you real quick. So
It was
Let's see
kicking
it.
my butt. I was
Let
just
me-
sitting here looking at it. I was like,
Let me try and focus on you. Here we go. It's on you now.
see, me and R2 doing the trench run. Woohoo!
All right, that's not
I
bad.
mean, it's.
Uh,
I'm gonna watch it and kind of see what it does. I'm cautiously optimistic, but
Okay.
I've played every
See
Star
what-
Wars
see
game
how it
since
ends up.
release, so I'm like,
Yeah.
100% gonna own it. I mean, like, it's good.
So have you guys seen the Disney's doing a complete reboot of the Star Wars universe?
I have not,
I've,
but just
I've
one
read some of the theories.
one last thing
Oh,
about
it's not
that
a theory.
game.
Disney announced they're rebooting it.
Just one last thing about that game.
Okay,
They
go
said-
ahead.
They said EA, everyone memed on them for it, but EA said you can unlock everything just through playing the game, and people were like, "Oh, well, that's actually surprisingly refreshing coming from EA because usually you have to pay for all the DLC for this stuff." So
Microtransaction.
they made that a point in their market in their teaser trailer saying unlock all cosmetics through playing the game, and everyone was like, "Oh man, that's great! You don't have to pay money to get all this extra stuff." But anyways, a Star Wars reboot would be really cool. I think they've been talking about that for a while about going like the Old Republic kind of stuff. I think.
Yeah, the Old Republic kind of thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
That
I would
would be
like
cool.
to see some movies with Revan in it. That would be pretty awesome.
I would love to see a really big deep dive on like the siege of, not the siege of Mandalore, but the Old Republic and Mandalore fight kind of thing happen. I think I'm not too big of a fan of the whole Jedi thing, but I think the Mandalorians, the Clone Troopers, I think all of them are pretty badass. I love the Empire as well. I think the Empire is really cool. Maybe even some more short stories with like Rogue One style, with like some deep dive on
this traitor's anti-Jedi.
Empire.
What the crap?
Yeah, the Empire did nothing.
Traitor.
I like Jedi.
They blew up a planet with traitors on it.
But I
did
also
nothing.
like the Mandalorians. I think the
Yeah, but the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorians don't
television
side
show
with
is
either. The Mandalorians don't side though.
Yeah, they're
just
by themselves.
for hire, or by themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever the case
But
may be.
what David was saying, I'd like to see the Caesar Mandalore. I'd like to see some movies based on Mandalorian culture. I know we've gotten in a lot of it, like the cartoon series. There's a lot about the Mandalorians because they're there, but I'd like to see more about the Mandalorian side of things. I'd like to see Mandalorian culture. I'd like to see their councils at work and everything that they do, and I'd like to see that sword, the ghost sword that I believe is going to be in the Mandalorian next season.
It is. Didn't they show it in the dude's hand?
They might have. I don't remember. But Ahsoka Tano is probably going to be my favorite addition to that show if she does show up. And we just got on something I could talk about for a year and a half if we wanted to.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't, unfortunately.
Go ahead.
I was actually going to bring up one thing that I read about. Speaking of movies and Disney, did you guys see what's happening with Thor, possibly?
Did not.
No.
So Chris Hemsworth, actor, portrayer of Thor for God knows how long, is apparently being phased out in Love and Thunder.
Are they doing?
Sorry.
So from what I've read and what I've heard, the actress that plays what's her face, I cannot remember her name.
Natalie Portman.
Thank you, Natalie Portman is going to be picking up Mjolnir, and she will be the new Lady Thor.
Yeah, because are they going to do Lady Thor?
Yeah, Marvel is transitioning recently into the female aspect of everything, which is why they have Tony Stark's daughter now, Ironheart.
Do we think they're skipping Iron Maiden?
Yes, because what's her face said she was not going to do it anymore. Gwyneth Paltrow.
What, Pepper?
Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah, she said she might be in for another role, but she's not ever going to brandish the armor again, from what I've heard. So Iron Maiden is probably not going to happen.
But Iron Maiden even has a band already ready for your soundtrack of your movie. Like, it makes itself.
It does, yeah. But I think Ironheart's a really good way to go with it, because Tony Stark's daughter is one of the smartest people you will ever see in the MCU franchise series. I mean, she's even smarter than Tony Stark. So
yeah.
I'm excited about it. Ironheart's going to be something that I cannot wait.
If they do it right, she's supposed to actually almost put Stark to shame.
Yeah, 100%. And
if she didn't do it out of respect for him, then she would basically put him to shame.
Yeah, something else I've read about. So I'm a big MCU fan. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Just for the viewers, something else I've read about is they might be bringing Tony Stark back.
How are they going to pull that off?
With stuff.
Yeah. The time stuff.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're going to have
Gamora's back in the canonical universe already.
Yeah, Gamora's already back in canon. The next Guardians of the Galaxy 3, actually, she's back, but she just doesn't love our.
Spoiler alert!
It's not the same Gamora, though.
By the way,
it's not the same Gamora, but I think that she's going to become the same Gamora. Spoiler alert to everyone that's watching. You know what? If they haven't seen the damn movie yet, they're not going to damn see it. Screw y'all.
True.
No spoiler alerts. Just watch the damn thing.
Very true. Speaking of movies coming out, we didn't get to talk about this. I was going to talk about it last week, but Amazon is picking up with the creators of Westworld a Fallout TV series or movie. I think it's a TV series.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
that could
TV
be good.
Series. So
yeah, that looks really good, actually.
Or it could be like Doom.
Yeah,
and horrible.
Well, it's a TV. It's a TV series, not a movie. It's going to be a TV series.
There's multiple Doom movies, unfortunately, and they're all bad. All of them are bad.
Even the one with The Rock in it, which was supposed to be good, but it wasn't.
They're bad. I don't even know how they end up that bad.
It's because it's not made to be a movie. is not made to be anything other than just a video game where you go shoot stuff all the time. There's not supposed to be a story behind it.
But the stories in the games are decent though.
Story in the game is decent. If not a little weird. I do think it's a little
just
weird.
do that. But just do
do
that
that.
in a movie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
For
harder than I'm
some reason,
thinking.
like for some reason, directors have this thing. They're like, oh, I have to make something different, and it has to reflect me. Instead of just like getting an idea, just getting paid a shit ton of cash and implementing the idea that's already been given to them and drawn out.
Well,
So,
okay, so a lot of video game movies are not great, but I actually like the Resident Evil series.
yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, they're pretty
I like-
decent. Derek, the only reason you like them is because of the actress that plays in them.
That is not true at all, actually.
Yeah, it is.
There's no.
I mean,
shame
she's
in that.
attractive, yes, but I do
mean-
like the movies themselves.
I've not seen any past. I think the second or third one, just because I lost interest. But I liked them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Okay, so while we're on the subject for a minute, how many of the game movies have you guys actually seen? So there's I've got a list of
Assassin's
30.
Creed.
There are 35 of them at least that I've got a list of right. So Mortal Kombat,
Tomb
of
Raider.
course.
Oh yeah, definitely seen that. I like those movies actually.
Tomb Raider,
Seen
the
it?
Super Mario Brothers movie. Did you guys see that one?
Yes,
No.
I did.
A couple times. It's
Goombas are
nostalgic,
my
but also
favorite.
terrible.
Okay, we
Literally the Goombas though.
We can't really talk about this one because it's new and spoilers and all. But Sonic the Hedgehog.
No,
Seen
I've
that
seen
one?
it.
That was actually really good.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
not
it
gonna
was-
lie.
it was good.
I've heard that. I plan on seeing it. I was gonna rent it the other day, but then I saw the price and I was like,
Street Fighter.
I'm
seen it.
No,
Not
yeah.
seen it,
I've
David, or don't
seen
like
it.
I haven't seen it.
Weren't there a couple of those?
There's a few.
Yeah, there were. Doom, of course.
Seen
Ugh.
Many,
the
many
Rock
Dooms.
one.
Tomb Raider.
Good one.
Far Cry movie. I'm gonna have to go see that. I'm gonna have to see that now.
Haven't seen
Resident
that.
Evil. Another Tomb Raider. Okay, this one I don't even know that I know the game of this one. In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale.
Never heard of that.
I've not heard of that game either, actually.
In
I've
the
heard
Name
of
of the King?
Dungeon Siege, but I've not heard
You think that's what it's based off
Name of
of?
the King. This is a
think in-
Dungeon Siege
I think
tale.
in Name of the King
I'm
is a
assuming.
2D platformer.
Okay.
I don't know, though.
Maybe.
Actually, yeah. Now that you mention that, I think it is. It's
Oh! Double Dragon.
Nope.
I haven't seen that movie.
The only
That's
reason
an
I've
old
seen that movie
game.
is because of Derek.
Is that a? Is that a? Are you sure that's a? Like a not an adult film? Because Double Dragon sounds like something that would be an adult film.
Oh, Warcraft.
Yeah, I've seen the
Yeah,
Warcraft
I
movie.
haven't seen that. Is it good?
Eh,
Okay.
it's
Alright.
okay.
They
Yeah.
could
What-
have done
I
better.
haven't seen it then.
Are you familiar with the Warcraft story?
Yeah, I know the Warcraft.
Yeah, it was
I
alright.
played World of Warcraft.
Silent Hill.
I mean, I play World of Warcraft, but I didn't follow the story.
Oh,
You just level up.
Silent Hill, the
Doesn't mean
movie.
anything.
Man.
You guys
They
seen
were
Silent
okay.
Hill?
those
They
are
were
pretty
okay.
good. I haven't seen them because I don't like horror flicks sometimes.
Me neither.
Blood Rain.
No. What other movies were video games or movies, Derek?
Well, we've got Alone in the Dark, Need for
I
Speed,
remember playing that game.
That's a good
Both
one.
of those games.
I've watched that. Need for Speed was really good though.
Wing Commander. Yes, it's a movie.
Wing
That's
Commander.
interesting.
Battleship.
Let's see here.
Battleship was one. It was nothing to do with the game, but there was a
Hitman.
movie called Battleship.
Silent Hill. I already said that one.
I did see Hitman.
I saw
Yeah,
it.
there's
Hitman.
several Hitmans actually. There are like 4 of them.
Yeah, they're really good
I
That
movies.
didn't
had,
know
that
that.
had the premise of being a really cool, like R-rated James Bond type of movie, but I feel like they didn't do enough with it.
Yeah.
They were still really
Uh,
good though.
I don't know what Rampage is.
Oh, it's the
Oh,
Okay.
Rampage.
it's like the mutant animals that fight each other on the streets and like
Yeah.
the giant gorilla.
Okay,
and the
okay,
shark
yeah,
It's an
and-
I do
arcade.
know what that is. Yeah, I do know what that is. Max Payne, Blood
It's a good
Rain.
game.
I already said Blood Rain.
Yeah.
That was another Blood Rain. There were 3 of them, so let's see.
I actually
here.
watched a movie based on a video game past couple weeks.
Which one
I've
was that?
forgotten
What was
about it
that?
until we just had this. So I watched.
Sonic.
No, that I saw that in theaters when it came out, and I do recommend you see that because
Yeah,
I
I do
enjoyed
too.
it.
It's very good. Wing Commander.
I watched Dragon Quest: Your Story, which is based off of Dragon Quest V. I won't spoil anything, but I thought it was great up until the last 15 minutes. We'll leave it
Speaking
at
of
that.
movies based off games, Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh heck
That is a great that is a great movie. The sequel's not as much.
Never saw it.
No. But the first one, I mean, dude, that thief, it must be the best thief in the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
snails.
it was my rogue from your campaign.
It really was.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally just walking in, taking shoes off people, like untying them off their feet and putting them on his shoulder.
So I've got a couple other game things I'm gonna mention here before we get done.
Definitely.
I finished playing The Last of Us 2, and
is it
I
good?
just
I've
want to
heard good
say
things.
that I don't really think that the outrage was justified for the game. I think I think the developer tried too hard to push that agenda, because it honestly they went out of their way to make it a thing when it didn't need to be a thing. Like it happened to fit in the story well, like it was a kind of a key hook to the story, but it was a minor hook. But at the same time, they could have told us the story, the exact same story, without having that extra detail in it, and it would have been just as fine. But for some reason, they felt like doing it. In all honesty, though, I don't think that it deserved as much of an outcry as it did. And
You don't think the voice actor getting death threats was too much?
yeah, that was really dumb. Or the whole
Especially-
staff actually getting it, but
Especially when that's such a small part of the work that she's done too. Like,
yeah, and it was such a small part of the game as well.
yeah.
The other thing about it, the other thing about that whole, just retouching on it, I think that they took a risk on doing that, which I kind of applaud them to, because it's not something that's mentioned a lot. On the other side, I'm seeing a lot more now where where a lot of games are trying to go that route and have that type of influence in their video game, which is fine. Just like the whole controversy that happened over the weekend with you being able to change the gender of your character in Assassin's Creed, middle through the game, and people have been saying that there are no female Vikings or anything like that, and which is totally not true. Look up what a shield maiden is, and you'll probably know what a Viking
Yeah.
is. But I think the game overall was really good. It's not a it's not a game that you leave feeling warm about, though. It's a very it's definitely a story game. It tells a very deep story.
Well, it's also a setup for Last of Us 3 too.
I hope so. I really do.
Oh, it's definitely gonna happen. I mean, unless these death threats get even worse, then people are just gonna stop the game from being made. But it's definitely a setup
Yeah.
for The Last of Us 3.
Like I said, they went out of their way to push that, and kudos to them for going against the grain, because they probably knew that they would have some flack for doing it, and they went ahead and did anyways. And I think that the issues that they brought up in the game probably need to be talked about more mainstream, which you can't get more mainstream than being one of the best exclusives that a PlayStation title's had. So I mean, I guess kudos to them for going out of their way to do that. But they could have told the story the same without it. But so I just don't think that the issues that came out of it was worth it. I hope there would be a 3. I really do. What I would like for the third one is to be a prequel, though. To be like because anyone who's not played the first one, you should probably go play it for one. I would like to see, because there's a time skip between Outbreak Day, which is what they call when the infection starts, and where Joel starts smuggling Ellie to Salt Lake City. I would like to see a point in between that, maybe not even emphasizing on Joel, but just maybe like I think it'd be a cool Left 4 Dead style game, like maybe not a full-fledged story-driven game, but I think a whole like the days, like the month after the outbreak, what that would be like, because I imagine that'd be crazy. You'd have just looting going on everywhere. You would have rampant people, just the infected being everywhere as well. I think that it would be a lot more high pace, because currently Last of Us is very slow pace. Last of Us 2 especially is a very slow paced game. It's a low burner or slow burner kind of game. And so is The Last of Us 1, because everything has settled down. Like, society's already kind of broken down at that point. But I think it'd be cool if they went and did like a prequel for their third one, and they went to like the days, like a short few days after the outbreak, and where it's all very chaotic still, and people are trying to escape. Maybe focus on a whole different set of characters. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And maybe even make it like a multiplayer co-op version. Although that's not really Naughty Dog's specialty, but that'd be a cool idea. But speaking of games coming out, so Assassin's Creed, Ubisoft did their Ubisoft Forward on a few days ago. So they showed Assassin's Creed, which looks really badass and cool. You get to do Viking raids and pillages and stuff like that, which would be really cool. And they announced, of course, the Far Cry 6. And it also looks, the trailer that they put out there was amazing.
I just want to say how awesome that trailer looked, like graphically. It is really well done. And I like I can't remember his name. I keep wanting to call him Gus Fring, but the actor that plays the bad guy, I like him.
For sure. And they announced a bunch of mobile games, which who really cares about? I mean, whatever. Everyone knows you have a phone. And the one that I thought was pretty cool is there's another battle royale that they're coming out with called Hyperscape, I think is what it's called, or I think it was Hyperscape.
It's an open beta
cool, though. Yeah, it actually looks pretty cool, and I hope that it's I hope that it does better than Apex Legends did. Although, assuming Apex Legends actually pushes out its update for crossplay, that game might actually take off again. But I guess all we really need is another battle royale, right? But it had a cool concept.
I enjoyed Apex.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Apex. Me and my brother played a lot of that on PS4. That was just about a nightly thing for a while. But the Hyperscape was interesting. I played a little bit of the closed beta. You had to get drops by watching streams. It's an interesting concept in that the viewers, the Twitch viewers, can influence the game in terms of what upgrades you get. So, that'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
When I saw that, I thought that's what Blizzard needs to do for Torghast and Shadowlands, is to give a Twitch option for people to drop in random mobs while they're doing, because Torghast is a endless dungeon for a while that they're implementing. It's the first time they've done it, but I think if they put a Twitch extension into it where Twitch viewers could drop in random mobs into the endless dungeon, that'd be really cool.
Or beef up the boss in certain ways.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Maybe give it certain buffs.
Like different boss powers and abilities and things.
Yeah, that's a free one,
That'd
Blizzard. If you want any other ideas from me, you have to pay me. So, if you ever come across this, it might be years from now. But
they come across it. Oh crap! I wish we'd come across that when the game was still popular.
Well, they already did, and you're like, yeah, we already done that, idiot. So, I think that's
either
really
one.
Cool.
One of the two
or
of those.
Like, because Diablo 4 will be coming out soon, right? So I think if they did that in Diablo as well, that'd be really cool. And they have the perfect setup to do that in Diablo, because it's a whole different kind of system than World of Warcraft. I mean, I guess it'd be harder to implement in WoW because they're essentially running off of a 10-year-old or 10 plus year old game design and platform, so it's difficult to do that. I actually think I know that I don't know how big into WoW you are, Tyler, but I actually think that this expansion is setting up for a total revamp, a World of Warcraft 2, if you will. I think they're getting ready to make that jump because they talked about they very heavily hinted at there being a giant time skip after the end of Shadowlands expansion, which I guess would give them the perfect opportunity to just
drop a new game
from the ground up, just do like World of Warcraft 2.
Hey, why do they need to drop a new game? People are playing the old game heavily.
They do.
They still got tons of subscriptions.
I think people who want to play retail, or that would want to come back to playing like the current version would. For one, I think WoW in itself would benefit greatly from a ground up rework on their engine, because there's so much stuff out there now that they can do. At the same time, if they start from the ground up, I kind of feel like maybe Blizzard would make a really shit game is at the same time. Like, it's a 50-50. Like, that's the thing about games these days. It's either 50-50. The other Ubisoft game, before I forget about it, was Watch Dogs, which actually looks really cool. But at the same time, it also was a little bit, had a weird timing. It was like rioting and stuff going on. And a lot of people were questioning, wow, did they make this trailer way in advance, or did they just make this trailer to suit the current theme that's going on now? I don't think they did, because I think Watch Dogs has always been about being rebellious and going against the system anyways, but a lot of people were like, well, this is awfully convenient that they dropped a trailer about protesting at this point against.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
something's going to be convenient at all times. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
People
know,
like
that's-
to put strings or draw connections to things that don't necessarily need to be connected for their own agenda.
yeah, this is true.
We talked about this in text. I'm just going off the rest of my list here. The new Vampire Masquerade game is coming out. Swan
It looks
Song
amazing.
does look really good.
I'm a big Vampire the Masquerade fan, actually. Even the
I
tabletop game.
I actually want to go back and play Bloodlines now because I saw that. I think that looks really cool.
It
I
is.
will
It's
I will
good.
look forward for that though. And I told you guys about this over text, but for anyone that doesn't know, Epic Games gives away a game every week, and so if you don't have Epic Games on your computer, you need to get it to get your free games. They've already given away a ton of cool things like
And by the way, there are apps on Android at least that are ad-based that give you the various platforms, not just Epic Games, that you can get games for free from.
for sure. I missed out on a lot of these, but just a few of the ones that were really big to hit off on. Civilization 6 came out. They gave away for free. GTA 5, Just Cause 4, World War Z, which is I heard is a really cool game.
It is a very
Assassin's
good game.
Creed Syndicate.
Yeah, that's a good game too.
They gave out the Batman Arkham Collection and the
I
Lego
did not
Trilogy,
play
if
that
you
one.
were into that. So they are putting some big ones out there. Oh, and Ark Survival, which I will be playing at some point soon.
That looks like a really good game, actually.
There's a lot of stuff coming out, so if you don't have it, you really should get it and get on board, even if you don't plan on playing it. It's free. Why wouldn't you want to do it?
I mean,
do it.
just get the games. Yeah, why not
Yeah.
just get the games, even if you don't want to play them?
Yeah.
I go get the free Xbox games every month, regardless of whether I'm gonna play them or not. Even if I don't want them, I get them just because why not?
And since I'm on a roll with my points on here, I was editing the first podcast, and I remember we were talking about where our usernames came from, and I was actually incorrect about it being Zombieland. It's actually from Red vs. Blue. I don't know if you guys remember that, but their special agents were actually named after a state. So you had Utah and Wyoming. All of them had their own. Their code name was their state, and I was thinking about that one day, and I was like, actually, that's probably where that's from because I remember Tex was one of the big characters in it,
Oh yeah.
and then the other special agents were like Utah, Wyoming, and South Carolina or whatever the case might have been. So I wanted to clarify that because I thought about it. And the last thing I have on here is that apparently the solar orbiter is taking its first photos of the sun that NASA sent out, and NASA's releasing them on Thursday. So that'll be really cool to see. All right. Well, we appreciate you all for tuning in and listening to us again. Check out the bottom left-hand corner of all of our boxes, and you will see all the handles that we have and where to find us, and it'll be in the description as well. If you enjoy what you're hearing, please consider subscribing and giving us a like. Also, please share the podcast because that's probably the best thing that you can do to actually help us out is to share it with your friends if you have anyone that you think would be interested about the things that we talk about. Everyone, remember, be kind to each other. There's a lot of grief going on right now about negative, toxic attitudes online. So make sure you're being kind to each other, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.